Light up Valentine's Day cards. Sparks will fly. Welcome to our library laboratory. I'm Mr. Ian, and Garrett is with me here as well, filming. Today we are going to be working on a little circuitry project. Light up Valentine's Day cards. Okay, so we're going to learn how to put together the circuit inside. But there's some special information that we need about circuitry and the way the electricity works before we can put together our circuits. So, first thing that you need to know is what a conductor is. So a conductor is something that allows electricity to move through it. In fact, you are a conductor. The human body is a natural conductor. But normally when we think of conductors, we think of something that is metal, like this copper tape that you have. Or like the legs of a little LED light bulb, or wires. So they allow electricity to move through them. Now the opposite of a conductor is an insulator, which does not allow electricity to move through it. So oftentimes we think of things like rubber or plastic as a insulator. And in this project, the insulator is going to be the tape that we use. Paper is also, in this case, going to be an insulator as well. So you're going to have to be aware of this when you're putting together your circuit. Now, got a picture here of a standard circuit for you, a basic circuit. So we've got our battery, and you'll notice that this battery has a plus side and a negative side. Now the batteries that you're going to be using are little coin cell batteries. And you'll notice, very helpfully, that if you look on the back, they have a plus on the back. So you can see the battery has a plus side and a negative side, and you have one side of a wire, or in this case it's going to be copper tape, that connects the plus side to one of the legs of the light bulb. Now you'll notice, if you take a look at your little LEDs, they have different lengths of legs. So one leg is longer than the other, and one leg is shorter. So you want to make sure that the long leg is connecting up to the plus side of your battery. So just a little safety precaution here. Normally you want to be really, really careful around electricity. You are a conductor, so you never want to touch a live wire with electricity. However, these batteries are only 3 volts, so they're very safe. The amount of electrical charge in this battery is not a danger. So you can actually attach it right up to a light bulb and it's not going to hurt you. You can actually hold on to that with your hand. So that's how you can test that your light bulb is working and that the battery is good. If you want to make sure that the long leg is attached to the plus side and the shorter leg to the negative side. So if you do this and your light bulb is not working, then either something is wrong with the light bulb or you have a dead battery. So your teachers have some spare light bulbs and batteries, so you can go and see them and they'll fix you up. So getting back to the circuit. Your other side of the wire or copper tape is going to connect the shorter leg to the negative side of the battery. And then you'll see that I labeled something called a switch. So normally, if you were going to have a switch, you're going to have like some sort of break there where it doesn't fill the circuit, it doesn't finish the circuit. only when you switch that switch down in place is it actually going to complete the circuit. So electricity moves in a circle in the circuit. But if that circle is broken, then you have an incomplete circuit. Another thing for you to watch out for and to know about is that electricity is lazy. It always wants to take the shortest route possible to complete the circuit. So, if you have some place in your circuit where electricity can move back and forth before the light bulb, so if you had like two pieces of metal, pieces of copper tape that were touching before the light bulb, you would have a short circuit and the electricity would go through that extra little place where the extra copper wire or that piece of copper tape. So you want to make sure that you don't have a short circuit, that you have a clean circuit, just like in this card. So you can see that I've got the battery here, and then I've got my copper tape going up here, and then I have the two legs of my light bulb. And then the electricity is coming back down here, and then I've got my switch right here. I use a little bit of cardstock with a little bit of copper tape on it, and then I taped down the switch to the battery, making sure that I did not put Scotch tape on top of the metal of the battery. You want to make sure that there's a connection between the copper and the metal on the battery. And then you just want to find the correct place to press on your switch in order to make sure that your card lights up. So there you have it. There are the basics. So we're going to talk a little bit about design and troubleshooting. And we're back.
Hi everyone, it's Garrett, the YA librarian. I'm here to help Mr. Ian out to show you all how to make your light up Valentine's Day card. So the first thing that you'll want to start with is going through all the different art supplies that we've given you. If you have any artistic talents with drawing, now's your time to really show that off. When you're also working on your design, you'll also want to think about where you want to place your light bulb. And then the next part of the planning stage is drawing your circuit before you actually use any of the materials, because that way you can make sure that it lines up to where your light bulb is. So that way that the design of your card is exactly the way you want it to be, and that there's not any surprises as you're laying down the copper tape or putting in your switch or your battery.
And don't be afraid to alter your design if you find that it's not working.
Yeah, like for instance, I ended up switching the placement of my button and my light bulb as I was working on the project.
And I ended up shortening my circuit because it wasn't lighting up when it was that far away from the light bulb, the battery. So I actually brought the battery a little bit closer, and then it worked just fine. So it's going to be trial and error.
After you finish your design of your card and you plan out what your circuit is going to look like on the inside, then you can get to work on putting down the copper tape and actually building your circuit. So remember, copper tape is a conductor and Scotch tape is an insulator, which means you have to be very careful about when you are taping things down with Scotch tape, because you might accidentally break your circuit.
And you have to be very careful where you put down the copper tape, because you might accidentally create a short circuit. Remember, you don't want copper tape touching. You don't want to have these two sides touching each other. You want them to be nice parallel lines so they only connect through your light bulb and through the battery.
First, you put in the light bulb,
And you can poke some holes for the two legs of the light bulb using like a little paper clip. Make sure you don't stab yourself by accident.
You can put in your light bulb with the holes you've punched with the paper clip. And another reason why it's very useful to use a paper clip is that if you try to puncture the holes with the bulb, you could actually end up damaging the light bulb, and it might not work by the time you finish your design and building your circuit. So then once you put in the bulb, you'll want to lay it down flat on the card, the little metal ends. And a tip for me, at first when I designed this, as you can see, there's a fold right here, and I accidentally put part of my light bulb and even some of my tape on the fold. So you want to, that's one way you can troubleshoot if your circuit's not working, because that could interfere. This little fold right here.
And those legs, you can bend those right down. You can bend those so that they're lying nice and flat. Just like that. And that's not going to prevent the light bulb from lighting up. But the more, like Garrett said, the more you move those legs around, the more likely they're going to break and snap off. And then you have to use another light bulb.
So once your light bulb is in, you'll want to put down an initial bit of copper tape that goes under and over the legs of the bulb. To get it over, to have the copper tape be over and under the legs. But in order to not break your circuit, we'll teach you a little trick. So let's take a little piece of copper tape. I'm going to take the sticky side of the copper tape, and I'm going to put it on the sticky side of Scotch tape. And then you can lay that over the top of the leg without breaking your circuit. So by doing that, you see how this is the non-sticky part of the copper tape, but here's the sticky, so that way you can lay it right down on top of your leg. And remember, you only want to get the copper tape on the legs of your bulb. At this point, you will notice that we don't quite have a full circuit, right? Because if you're only laying down the two strips of copper tape, that means at the end, there's nothing to connect both sides. That's when you make your switch. Getting our battery and cutting from a piece of cardstock paper. And
a little bit of copper tape.
So you'll take your copper tape, you'll stick it on the cardstock, and then using Scotch tape, you'll tape it on to the side of where the shorter leg is. See that? On this side. So as you can see here, the plus side of the battery is on the copper tape. Got a piece of copper tape spanning across the cardstock paper. You tape it over, and then it completes your circuit.
Voila! So once you've got the circuit complete, it should light up just like that. If it doesn't, then you should go through and see if you can troubleshoot. This is just, if any of you have done coding before, it's just like going back through code and figuring out where the circuit is going wrong. So once again, make sure that you have a clear connectivity between the battery and the copper. Make sure that there are no breaks in the circuit. Make sure that there's clear conductivity and connectivity between the legs of your LED light bulb and the copper. Make sure that there's no tape that's blocking the connectivity between the battery and the copper, or your legs in your copper. And there's only so much power in the battery, so if your circuit is a little bit too long, if there's too much space between the light bulb and the battery, maybe try shortening it and see if that makes any difference. So there are all those different things that you can do to try and troubleshoot the battery or the circuit. And there may be times when you have to take the circuit apart and rebuild it from scratch. If it's not working and you can't figure out what's wrong, don't be afraid to do that. That is part of the troubleshooting process sometimes. So, and we will have a little Zoom office time for troubleshooting. I believe we're going to probably set that up about 1:30 or 2 o'clock. So if any of the classes need to tune in, and we'll do a little Zoom troubleshooting for your circuits. If anyone has any issues, you can tune in. Well, folks, we hope that you guys have enjoyed this little STEM tutorial. And we also wanted to talk to you about our Full Steam Ahead at Your Library program, which is going to be coming up probably late March or so, early April.
Yeah, just in time for the weather to be a little bit nicer, huh?
So that is open to 4th and 5th grade, and technically it's open to 6th grade as well, but mostly 4th and 5th grade. And it's going to be mostly virtual this year.
Virtual, and we'll make sure that everyone will be able to participate, even if you are at home more because of COVID. You'll be able to participate in the program this year.
And we're going to have some really fun things. We're coming up with a astronomy bingo card, and once the weather gets a little bit warmer, we're going to be taking out some small groups to do some stargazing through the telescope. What are some of the other things we're going to be doing? Stop motion animation, coding,
looking at some ecology and ecosystems in your backyard. I think we're even thinking about maybe a little bit of food science.
Yes, a little bit of food science. We might be able to take a couple of hikes up on Millstone Trail for the ecology. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot of really fun things. So you will need to register for this program once it comes around. So probably registration will start sometime in March, mid-March, I would guess. So.
And for those of you who have done it before, you've registered virtually, so there's not going to be a huge change to getting started, and stay tuned for some fun full steam ahead.
Coming down the pipeline. So we'll look forward to that this spring.
And good luck with your cards.
Yes. And happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.